Greetings, YouTube Nation. Well, once and for all, we're finally going to get to this next project that got interrupted by the Lima FP45 and the Penn Line 280 consolidation. This is another locomotive from my from the days of my youth. It is a Athearn Blue Box FP45, and as you could tell, it has seen much better days. The handrails are missing on each end because back in the day, I really didn't care much for handrails, and I didn't have much, I didn't have as much respect for my model trains as I do now, and I have no one to blame for that except myself. The shell's a little loosey-goosey, but it's still clinging on for dear life. The couplers are intact on each end. Don't hate me that they're horn hooks. And this is the headlight assembly. That came off because the bracket came off because of my mishandling over the course of time. Don't know what became of the handrails and stanchions. I mean, I do see a few down here, but I see no railings. And like my SD45, it is going to get upgraded. And for that upgrade, we're going to replace this with an LED. I'm not sure if I'm going to put an LED on the on this end. I might. I don't see why not. And what I'm also, the other upgrade that I'm going to give to it is a gold motor, because this is one of my first locomotives, and it deserves an upgrade. So we're going to put that in. We're going to put this in. And oh look, I found the handrail. Okay. Maybe we'll put this on the back door. We'll see. And I've also got new motor mounts. And the screws that work with these motor mounts. I might say it again later in the video, that to work with the black motor mounts as opposed to the off-white motor mounts, and I know I have a stray here somewhere on my workbench. Hold on one second, I'll locate that. Yeah, so this is as opposed to the regular motor mount that we've all grown up with. This came out of another locomotive, if you could see it. The new motor mounts that you don't need the screws for, they're somewhat off-white, but we're gonna put the new motor in, and we're going to put the new motor mounts in. So let's begin. Actually, before we begin, let's do a preliminary track test. So I have the power on, the power pack in the forward position, and with the little power, forward, and reverse. So, it isn't that old bad, given that it is using a gray flywheel motor, but we'll have this thing running better with the gold motor. Now we can begin. Alright, as with all repairs, we're going to start with the removal of the shell. I have the bin to put the shell in, and anything that I do deem necessary to put in here. I also have the small little parts tray that you could pick up at at Michael's, at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and perhaps even Walmart. We're going to take that. We're going to take our slotted screwdriver, and we're going to put the screwdriver right over here to prop that up. And given that this is a very loose fitting shell, it just comes off like that. I'm going to put that in there, and much like the Lima, this thing could barely fit in there. And we're gonna switch that off. So we have the inside of the motor, and take that off because we're gonna hook a wire up to it, and we're going to take off the couplers, and I didn't even I'll put that in there. I didn't even notice that part of this coupler is broken off. There are some YouTube videos out there that say that if you cut off a certain part of the horn hook coupler, this is the horn hook coupler at the front. And if you cut off part of the horn hook, it's supposed to make it easy for to hook up cars that use KD or knuckle type couplers, but we're gonna replace that coupler. Now, as with all Athearn locomotives, there is a front and a back. This is the front of the locomotive because there's a nubby thing over here, and that is where the light bracket is typically mounted. We also know that this is the front of the locomotive because the commutator is right here of the motor, and this motor has seen much better days. We'll probably clean that motor. And the gear towers are properly mounted because the elbows are facing you. If I had the locomotive this way, the elbows are facing me and they're properly mounted. So we are going to take the slotted screwdriver and right underneath the front worm gear, the front gear tower mount, we're going to put that in here. Hold on 1 second so you can see. Oopie, got a little careless with the camera. And I am going to remove the gear worm shaft, and off comes the front gear tower. I must have lubricated this at some point in time years ago, because I could still see some grease, but we're gonna clean this off. I'm gonna put that onto the track right now, and I'm going to be a little daring, a little brave and crazy. Gonna remove the rear gear tower. Put that over here. And off she comes. And I'm going to put that right over there. Now we have the motor. And we're going to dislodge the motor from the frame. Through these little holes right over here. That's one, and motor is out. Motor mount is out. Well, these mounts are still pretty good. We could save them. I don't see any reason to dispose of them. We'll set them aside for a rainy day. So now we're down to the frame. This is where the bottom of the motor meets with, and as because the frame is energized, is a metal frame, and it's energized for the negative current. And it's connected to this clip right over here. We're gonna give that a proper, we'll clean that off camera. And we could always save that motor for another project. We'll clean that off camera. Not going to bore you with that. But we are going to clean this frame, and we're also going to polish up this metal strip where the where the motor is connected to. Be right back. Alright, so I've already gone ahead and put the new motor on the frame, and I've already pre-treated this motor, and when I say pre-treated, I meant gave it a proper cleaning and lubricated the shafts in between the motor and the flywheel with air tool oil. I've already cleaned the commutator, and I've already put the new motor mounts in. One thing to bear into mind, if you ever opt to use the new motor mounts, you have to have the screws with it, and installation of these of the mounts with the screws, you require a great deal of torque. A simple little hobby style screwdriver won't do the trick, because you really need some torque, which is why I used the screwdriver which I got at Harbor Freight. And I have the new motor mounted, and it's running perfectly. Now I'm going to get to the gear towers. So here I am with the front gear tower. It looks in relatively good shape, but there is signs of an effort on my part to lubricate the gears, and that was back in the day when I didn't know any better. We're going to remove the top clip over here, like so. And a note about the truck cover: you don't go in through here. You go in from above, like so. And you find the right spot, and it should come undone. Because this is a 6-axle locomotive, you have to go in from 2 different spots. Truck cover is off. And I am going to flip it over here because I don't want the gears to come out all over the place. So here we are inside the front gear tower. We have some rust or oxidation. We have the axles, which look in fair shape. And we have the gears themselves, and bone dry. And like I always say, orientation is important. So, like I always say in all my previous videos, orientation is important. We have the 45 tooth gear right underneath the gear worm, and 223 teeth gears right behind it. And I am going to remove the 45 tooth gear. It may not matter as far as the orientation of gears for some, if not all, Athearn locomotives, but if you see gears oriented laid out in a certain way, then then it should be important to put it back how you found it. So there are little markings on this gear at 12, 3, 6, and 9. So I'm going to put it down over there like that. The 23 tooth gear behind it has a little raised mark right over here. Put that right over here. There is no visible marking on this gear. The raised mark is on the flip side, but we're going to keep it like here, like so, where the raised mark is on the bottom. And it's a little meh inside here. So I am going to take the fiberglass pencil, clean that. Like so. It's going to be important to clean this part of the gear tower because that is where we're going to solder a wire that will connect to the motor, to the top clip of the motor. I'm going to take this half over here, clean that up. And without wanting to bore you, I'm going to clean the inside of the gear tower and the gears off camera. Be right back. Alright, so I'm ready to reassemble this gear tower. We have gear 1. We have gear 2 right behind it. And we have gear 3 behind gear 2. And they are moving harmoniously. Like so. Wheels are also cleaned. I've also gone ahead and taken the fiberglass pencil and polished up the... Alright, so I've got the... I've also taken care of the copper bushings that are right over here. And I am ready to put this gear tower back together. But before we do that, a little red lithium in between the gears. You don't need to go to town with this stuff. A little will do you pretty good. And we're going to put it right over here so that it meshes. We're going to put some, I'll put a little over here. No need to go to town with this stuff, because I've had this for over a year and there's still a lot left. And everyone's getting all that love. Right. And we're going to take each axle, and the orientation for these specific axles, it doesn't matter. Where you have an insulated side and a non-insulated side. That is the beauty of these blue box locomotives. The same would apply for several of the blue boxes that have the nut in between the wheel and the axle itself. The orientation doesn't matter. And I am sitting this end of the axle in here so that I can just easily get that all together. Right, like so. I'm going to take the truck cover and we are snapped into place. And I'm going to take the gear tower cover, which I forgot to clean. Don't tell my dentist that the toothbrushes that they give me every time I go for I see the hygienist I use downstairs. If you have your own toothbrush and you go to the dentist and they give you a toothbrush, don't tell, take the toothbrush. It's a free toothbrush. And you could just, use it for cleaning. Same thing goes when you stay at a hotel. Oh, I forgot my toothbrush. Do you have a toothbrush? Here you go. Have free toothbrush. There you go. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to $1.25 Tree for that. Hold on a second. So there's the front gear tower right over there, which I've just done. Glides very nicely. No resistance whatsoever. And now we're going to move on to the second gear tower, which I'll do off camera, and we'll be right back. All right, so I am ready to reassemble the FP45, and these are the components of my reassembly rather. Front truck, front gear tower with the little solder for the positive connection. I have a solder point over here for the rear gear tower and its wire. I have LED light for the light bracket. It's already been, it's whoopee. Don't know my own strength. The negative connection has already been soldered to the bottom of the bracket. Positive connection will be soldered over here. The wires will be soldered to the top motor clip. And over here, I have a LED for the rear of the locomotive. This is going to get soldered over here. This will be soldered over here. So, and we're going to secure the wires with some shrink, with some heat shrink tube. let us begin. Front gear tower, rear gear tower. Turn it around. So now here's the front of the locomotive, and the elbows are correctly facing me, are oriented correctly. And we are going to put the gear worm connection into here. Come on, play nice. Bingo. Gonna put that one in here. Very nice. Going to put the front gear worm. Orient. Bam, in. For anyone who's wondering, yes, the thrust washer in this gear worm and that gear worm have been lubricated. It was done off camera. A skosh of red lithium here. So that it shares that love with that 45 tooth gear. That one is covered. Bam. Take the rear gear tower. Oopie doopie. Hold on. Alright, continuing where we left off. Going to put the rear gear worm in. That is in. That is in. That is beautiful. Red lithium. And keep secure. Put the cover on. That's all set. And then what is next? You know what? Let's test it first. That's a little bit too high. That is between 20 and 30% throttle. That is running beautifully. Put back over there. And now we're going to solder these wires. Wait a second. Not yet. All right. Now, we've got the red soldered on. I am going to put the heat shrink tubes in now. Mustn't be hasty. We mustn't be hasty. I'm just as eager as you are. Light bracket in. Light bracket threaded. Front motor clip. LED light. Rear motor. Rear gear tower. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. The top motor clip got a little flopsy-mopsy. But we're all set. That's sorted out. And now the rear light. there we have it. Let's test it. All right, I think we're ready. Power is on. It's in the forward direction. And now forwards and back. I hope you could see the LED light in the reverse direction. Let me see if I switch this light off. Maybe you could see it a little better. Yeah, there we go. All right, I think I'm satisfied. Let's take her to the layout, see how well she runs, and I'll see you in a couple seconds. Well, I have it on one of the DCC-EX main lines. I have it at speed step 51, and it's running quite well. And it's making the clubhouse turn right now. And here we are. Of course, everything's going to get compressed down, and I don't think it will interfere with the operation of the locomotive. But this is a very nice run. And I've had it running for about 5 to 10 minutes now. And it's remarkable. Let's see if I can slow it down a little more. And it's fantastic. Gonna hit stop. See how it runs in reverse. Okay, so I've got her show back on. The whatever stanchions I found in the box weren't the ones for this locomotive, so either I'm gonna have to scour eBay for the stanchions, or consult one of my Facebook group. One of the Facebook groups that I belong to see if I can find stanchions, or do a real exercise in patience and try and make my own. Heaven help us all. The couplers, I've put Katie number 5 on the front, Katie number 5 on the back. Nice and level with the height gauge. So I am going to take this girl over to the layout and see how she does with pulling some cars. Stay tuned. Well, she's pulling pretty good, given the speed step that I have it on. And given the that we have a brand new motor in this girl, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasonably weighted Athearn passenger cars. She's got her lights again. She hasn't had them in heaven knows how long. And that's nobody's fault but my own. So, with another restoration job in the books, I'd like to thank all of my subscribers for their support. If you're not already a subscriber, there is a link in the lower right hand corner for you to subscribe. Please like and share if you wish. And, as always, thank you so much for stopping by. See you soon.